why. So, are you expecting a mass exodus of the citizenry after Biden gets inaugurated?
No, no,
Okay.
because all those
Are you
charges
are
are all
you are
full
you
of.
ex- are you expect are you expecting people to stop trying to immigrate to this country after?
No, nope.
Okay.
There's still gonna be
What
immigrants
what why is it that nobody is trying to get out of here and everybody is trying to get in? What's going
because there's
on here?
opportunity here. There is opportunity here.
Okay.
There's
So it's
educational opportunity. There's business opportunity. You know, they're not coming here for the health care. I can tell you that.
Well, okay, fair enough. But that's the thing is if you hop the Rio Grande and you break a couple ribs doing it, and you show up to a hospital in McAllen, Texas, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna treat you.
They're going to treat you and they're put you on a bus and send you on the other side.
Maybe,
You'll be
maybe
back in
not.
a day. No, you'll be back in a day
Maybe,
or two.
yeah. Well, maybe.
You'll
You're
be back in a day or two, and they'll lock up your kids in a little cage, and then wait.
that was built by Obama and Biden by the Ninth District.
I'm with you.
The
I'm
Yep.
with you. They built the cage. They didn't build them for kids. They built those cages to house illegal immigrants. I agree with you 100%. They didn't build them for separating families and putting children in.
But under the Obama Biden administration, from the Circuit Court, they ruled that families could not be held together for adjudication. That was under the Obama
Well, there was a
administration.
time limit on how long they could be held. Okay, and if they ran over that time limit, then you had to let them go. That was part of the catch and release.
Yep,
Yep.
that's
So
a
it
good
wasn't
idea.
about splitting them up. There was never anything about splitting them up
No,
until
no,
Trump
no,
came. They
no, that's
never
not
split
true.
them up
No,
with
that's
Obama.
you're gonna have to fact check that because that's just not true.
Okay, I'll fact check
Uh,
it.
Yep. The splitting up of families was how it worked because the thing of it is, if you Jeff, if you go out and do a murder, they're going to arrest you, and guess what? You're going to be separated from your family.
Yep.
You cross the border illegally, you bring kids across here. Guess what? You're going to be separated from your family. You break a law. That's
You will now. You
Yep.
will now because that's the Trump plan.
And it's the same thing for me. If I go out and rob the liquor store down the street,
You're using a completely different analogy.
no,
When the whole family comes across the border, if you want to look at that, if you think that coming across the border and is a criminal
you
offense,
know who's
okay, but they
Yeah,
all
but
created the,
you know
they
who's
all
making
did
money.
it.
You know who's making money from all those family border crossings? The cartels. You know who controls all that? The cartels.
Oh, come on.
100%. Come on,
Okay.
nothing. Well, do your
These
research.
are people running away from cartels. This isn't the cartels
No,
controlling.
no. You don't think those cartels control who comes in and out of those borders? They do,
No.
100%. Better than we do. Way better than we do.
Okay.
With more weaponry.
What do they control? Are they recruiting people to go across the border with children so they can? Is that what you think? It's a big conspiracy of cartels that are pushing these
No, it's a money.
undereducated
No, it's a
people from
no, it's a
Central
money.
America?
It's a money making deal.
How's
These
it a
people
money making deal? These
they
people don't have
scrape
any
up
money.
they scrape up every penny they have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
pay
yeah.
to get across this border
Sure, sure. I know.
this horrible country that's so
Yep.
oppressive, doesn't have health care. Why do they even want to be here in the first place?
Because there is opportunity. They can come here and work for $8 an hour.
Yep.
All day long as a housekeeper or something like that.
Because the American experiment is working, and because there's prosperity to be had here.
Well, they come
Because
into the legalized slavery of America, basically.
The legalized slavery. Oh, I see.
The paying people under the table and all that kind of stuff. I mean,
yeah.
Don't turn a blind eye to this, really. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people out there that are part of this system. I mean, even some of our senators and congressmen have been caught up into this when they've had housekeepers that they hired, they're paying under the table, that they don't have any paperwork. This happens all the time. Even Trump, he had problems with that with building some of his buildings, right? Where he was paying Polish immigrants less than minimum wage, and they were all illegal. Don't you remember that too? This was before he was president, by the way.
No, I don't.
So
I don't recall that.
there's several of those situations. And then,
Mhm.
you think everybody that's picking fruit and vegetables out in the field in California, do you think they're all legal? And do you think they all came here? Why, if you know what, if they're all legal, why are they working in an oppressive environment like that, making the pittance that they do to provide the food for our families? Why are they working in that environment? If they're all rocket scientists, they'd be out working for Elon Musk, right?
Well, true. And so so the point being is they come here and they work under the oppressive situations they work under.
Right?
Why is it that they would do that? Why wouldn't they just stay put?
Because it's still a better life than what they had where they were at.
Okay.
That's right. Because they're poor. A lot of them
Okay.
are uneducated. The ones we're talking about, I'm not going to say they're all uneducated, just
Sure.
some of them that we're talking about, maybe people working out in the fields. Although I've found lots of people working in the fields had a great education. You'd be
Sure.
surprised when you actually talk to people,
Yeah.
and why they came here. Maybe they've been threatened, but I can guarantee you the cartel is not recruiting people, or they're not paying tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars to get their family across the border of the United States. If they did that, if they had that kind of money, I can tell you they would get on an airplane and they would fly here with a visitor visa, as most of the people that do and overstay, they would fly here with a visitor visa and just overstay. This whole deal about the border is the absolute rock bottom of illegal immigration. The real core of illegal immigration is at our airports every single day. That's where people come in and they overstay. And they overstay
Okay.
for
Well,
months,
yeah,
years, who knows?
and right, and perhaps that's something to address as well. But
Well, and let me give you another example. If I'm an illegal alien and I've been here for a year, 2 years, and I decide to go back to my home country, hard for me to get back over the border to Mexico and then crawl all the way to Central America or something. But I can go to the airport and I can just buy a ticket and go back and show them my passport. Nobody at the airport asks you if you've overstayed. Nobody asks you about your visa when you leave. All they do is know that you have a ticket and that you have a entry permit that allows you to enter the country that you're going to. Nobody asks you anything else. That's where our system really falls down if you want to get with immigration and stuff. Because if you got a little bit of money, all you have to do is buy an airline ticket. Done. Airline ticket and a visitor visa, tourist visa. And you can stay as long as you want, go back and forth. You have to get another tourist visa when you go back home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and from what I understand, the cartels are undercutting that. And
they're not making much money then.
Well, they, yeah, well, I've again, where I get my information is from folks who've worked down there who talk very frankly about what's going on at the border.
Mm-hmm.
And the American-Mexico border is not controlled by the United States; it's controlled by the cartels. Period. End of story.
Okay. I'm not agreeing. I'm just.
Well, yeah.
But anyway,
and I mean, it's something to look into.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Do you think it's only brown people that they're like south of the border brown people that are our illegal immigrants, or do you think maybe there's other people from other parts of the world?
Well, I'm sure that's true, but the point
I mean,
being,
I'm just saying.
Well, we're the problem with it is that, for one, I'm pro immigration.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we've got going on is part of the problem is we're too strict about how we do this.
We don't have it, but anyway, go on. We can talk about that. But yeah, I get you.
I'm more for a pre-1920s type of immigration approach.
Yep.
Let everybody come into Ellis Island, sit on the benches, get registered in, come on in.
Yep.
Fine, no problem. That part I don't completely, that's something where I guess I might depart from my party on, but hey, let's start, that's the thing, so the couple of things is, drugs and immigration. It's this prohibition syndrome,
right.
Where we've prohibited these things such to the extent that now we've made it a black market problem.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the solution to that? Is the solution to crack down on it more, build
No.
bigger walls, higher walls, more security,
Nope.
more this, more that? Or is the solution to say, hey, y'all want to come in here? There's the line.
Yep.
Stand in the line. You stand in the line. You do what
But the
you're
way it
supposed to
is
do.
now, there is no line. The
Right.
line is, there's dead people sitting in a line that have been on the line for 30 years, right?
100%.
There is no line.
Right.
Okay.
Right. There should, yeah. You know,
So that's
and
be
if I was gonna,
reformed.
right. So if I was going to do comprehensive immigration reform,
Mm-hmm.
I would shoot for something along those lines to say, hey, we're making it way too, you know, why are we restricting immigration
Mm-hmm.
to the extent that we are? Is
don't
it
know.
because
Right.
of drugs? If it's because of drugs, then maybe we need to look at our drug policies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know, maybe we
It's
just
supposed
need
to be
to.
for the worker that we're supposed to maintain enough jobs in the United States and don't let all these foreigners come in and steal our jobs, right? But that's not happening because Cletus in West Virginia is not going to go take that that Silicon Valley software engineering job that's available right now.
Well, yeah, I'm not so sure it's about jobs necessarily.
So if it's not about jobs, is it about racism then?
Well, that's the thing is, I don't think we have a good beat on what the problem is.
I think jobs is used as an excuse. But I really think it goes back to even a whole lot of racism. I don't know. When we ask Stephen Miller, he's a good guy on that stuff. He's the guy talking and chirping in Trump's ear, right?
Well, I'm not so sure it's a racism thing. What's coming across the southern border is a lot of human trafficking.
Let's talk about the whole thing. Let's talk about all immigration. Let's talk about why did we slow down H-1Bs? Why did we cut those? H-1Bs are the genius visas. Why did we slow those down under Trump? Doesn't make any sense. Well, wait a second. Melania was an H-1B. She got a genius visa. Why is she a genius? I don't know. But anyway, let's move on. I digress.
Well, so we're, that there's something to be argued there.
There's a lot to be argued there.
Right. To say that, okay, we have a certain standard or wage that these type of individuals enjoy, and if we open this up, then it's gonna cut that wage. So there's a legitimate.
It's not going to cut that wage. It's built in directly into the H-1B visa program that the employer has to pay them the same wage as what they would make normally. It's within a certain percentage. So they're not going out and saying, okay, it would cost us $100,000 a year for a software engineer if we're going to bring a guy in from India for $20,000 a year. That is not happening on an H-1B. Not happening.
Yeah, but you've got a senior software analyst of some sort that's making $200,000 a year.
Sure.
You can bring somebody in from India that will take $80,000 a year on an H-1B.
Yep.
What do you do?
Well, you're going to bring him in, but you're not going to bring him in as a senior. You're going to bring him in as a normal software engineer. He may take the other guy's job, but maybe the guy didn't bring enough value anyway. This is a dog-eat-dog world, especially in America.
But you see where the lobby is there. You see where the lobby is.
But you know what? That's so great.
And it has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with race.
Well, it doesn't because I work in that type of industry and I know it
has to do with protecting wages. Okay.
Well,
the guy that's making $200,000 a year doesn't want the guy from India coming in and undercutting him by half.
The problem is that a senior analyst will come in from India and he will expect $80,000 to $100,000 a year. The other guy was making $200,000 a year. Okay, well, they're not going to call this new guy coming in a senior. They're going to call him an analyst, and he's going to probably do the duties of the senior. And they're going to make the 80 to 100 versus they get rid of the guy for 200.
And they're going to lay the guy off making 200,000.
You're right, but you know what? The other thing that happens is, and I'll tell you this because of my experience, is guy coming in from India doesn't communicate the same way. doesn't have the same culture,
Okay.
doesn't have the same way of
Yep.
communicating within a corporate environment. And if you want to bring in people to do that job, you have to be able to bring them at the same level as that $200,000 a year guy.
Okay.
Right?
So now let
So
me
I mean,
throw
it's
my
a business decision. I get that.
okay. So now, yeah, right. So now let me throw my free market libertarianism at you
Okay.
to say that if you're going to make that move, you know, if you've got your senior analyst making, you know, that's got 30 years of experience making $300,000 a year,
Mhm.
and you're going to undercut him by bringing a guy in from India on an H-1B visa, and you're only going to pay him $100,000 a year, and you're going to jettison old boy making $250,000 a year,
Mhm.
you better get your bean counters together on that stuff. It better
Well,
be worth it.
It better be worth it. That's right.
Yeah.
Because are you getting
And
the
so-
same value for that person?
So I would agree with you. So there's an issue where, you know, if the Trump administration has stifled that kind of immigration, I would say that's wrong. We
Mhm.
should be able to compete.
Yeah.
We should be able to compete.
So I'll tell you what that drives to. The next thing, and the reason I worked overseas a lot, is because then you get to a place where you do work sharing, right? Because our products aren't something that's tangible. It's not like we ship a car back to the United States or something like that. We ship electronic data, right? So
Yep.
the reason I worked over there is they send all the old boys, the old gray hairs, over there to train somebody in China or whatever to do a job that could be done in the United States, but now it's being done in China. Instead of paying an engineer $100,000 a year here, paying an engineer $30,000 a year in China to do the same job. And to be honest with you, probably a better job. But anyway, we can talk about that some other time. But
Yeah.
that's why I worked over there for so long, is to do work sharing, because we have no vehicle in the United States government to pay import duties on data that comes back. So I could do, and I'll give you a really good example. The last time I worked in Beijing, I did a $20 million engineering project. We sent all that $20 million worth of engineering was done in China. It was brought back, not to the United States, but to Canada. And there was no tax paid on that. And we shipped the cash out to Canada to pay the people. And China absolutely loves it because that's money that's going back into their coffers. It's difficult to take money out of China through the banking system. It's very easy to bring it into China. But when you're sending product out electronically, it doesn't even go through customs. There's nothing. Back in the old days when I used to do this, back and forth to Mexico, I worked for a company here in Cincinnati. We had worked on in Mexico before the internet. So this is getting way back there, right? I would come home once a month, and I would bring a DAT tape, and I'd have to transfer that tape from Mexico up here so the people would have all the information. And I even asked our president of the company, I said, "What am I, your mule? I'm carrying something that's valuable. Am I supposed to claim this when I go through customs?" No, you don't claim it. It's data. All it is a tape. But the data on the tape is what's valuable because that's got hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of information that's going back and forth that we're not collecting any customs duties for. So
Yep.
if
There
you
you go.
don't let these people come here and work, that's what happens. So they're worried about shipping jobs overseas. Shipping jobs overseas, like Trump playing his carrier game, like, oh, they're gonna send carrier jobs, 1,000 jobs to Mexico or whatever. That's a pittance compared to these high-end jobs that they send all over the world, because people are smaller all over the world. They can do this work. It's not like
Right.
we're the smartest in the world and we're the only ones that can do it. There's people all over this world that have the same, if not better, educations than we do that can do this work. It's getting the work in front of them and getting the work back here to the United States or Canada or Europe or wherever, Middle East. I worked on all of them, right? And there's no taxes or there's no duties paid on any of that work going back and forth. That's a huge problem.
Right. So, well, and you know, and that's the thing, is how do you protect the prosperity that you know, working in America affords?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it turns into a completely global situation, then working in America is no different than working in Beijing or India.
We're kind of already there. You'd be surprised.
We're not. No,
other than
we're not.
Actual goods going back and
again,
forth,
Jeff, there's nobody rushing to flee to China. There's nobody rushing to flee to India. There's nobody rushing to flee to Sri Lanka. Nobody's doing that. Everybody's rushing to flee to here because this is where the prosperity is. And that has to be protected.
Mm-hmm.
So if that means shutting down H-1B visas for a while to protect that, so be it. That means shutting down,
but all it'll do is push the work offshore. I can
whatever.
tell you that now.
But the prosperity is in the United States. Everything revolves around the United States. That's how it is. You start implementing the kind of policies you're talking about, foreign policy wise, economically, on a global scale. You're just going to put United States on par with China.
The only thing that revolves around the United States, two things that revolve.
Everything revolves around the United States.
No, the only two things are
the global economy,
military,
the global economy, and
the
what
banking
else?
system.
And the banking system. Okay,
that's right. Banking and military are the two things that revolve around the United States. Everything else, believe it or not, people like. I was working for an Australian company.
United States goes down, the world's over.
You know what? I was working for an Australian company. We were doing work in Canada, but I was actually in China doing the work. Had nothing to do with the United States whatsoever. I didn't get paid in U.S. dollars. Had nothing to do with the United States.
Yeah,
only one thing had to do with the United States. You know what that was?
Currency.
Because I still had to pay U.S. taxes on all the money I made.
Mm-hmm. As well, you should, because the foundation.
Why? I wasn't here. I left for years.
The foundation of the world economy is the United States.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's not.
All right. So you take out the United States, and the world economy is just going to tick along, no problem. It's going to be better than ever.
No, it's going to be rough for a while. But you know what? It's like the other day whenever you were talking about the crews having that big bill that stopped the natural gas lines coming from Russia to Germany. Didn't stop it. Because the only way he can stop anything is getting Trump to get on.
It's not going forward.
Oh, wait a second. No, one of them is already, there's two parallel lines that run. One of them was already started in 2013. So one of them was already running. Okay. The other one was down to the last 100 and so kilometers, and it's still going to be finished in 2021. And everybody basically flipped them the bird and told them, no, we're going to finish it. Because the only sanctions he can put on it are sanctions on the constructors. Well, guess what? You know what they do? They do just like the United States. They make a limited company of a bunch of constructors getting together and putting their money in a bag, and they go ahead and build the thing. And then when it's over, they dissolve the company, and then there's no sanctions on it anymore. And that's exactly what's going on. And that pipeline's going to be finished, and they're going to be delivering gas in 2021 to Germany.
Well, we'll see about that. But I thought it was at least a good move. By Cruz to try to sanction Russia in some way, shape, manner, or form.
You know, that's shouldn't
we be sanctioning Russia?
It's the only game we can play. Why do we keep playing this? All we can do, because we run the banking system, is we keep doing the sanctions. Okay, I ran into this whenever we had to hedge.
No, we do sanctions because right? Hey, you want to play with the United States? You got to play fair.
I don't want to play with the United States. Let's say, like I was telling you, I'm building a plant in Canada. Most of the parts in engineering are done in China. Why do I have to play with the United States? Why?
Because they're your consumers.
No, they're not. I'm telling you.
We're the richest country in the world.
No, stop. We're building a plant in Canada, and
we
we're
are
providing engineering and services from China.
And your little plant worker in Canada buys, is dependent on the United States economy.
Not at all. I can guarantee you, my friends in Canada would punch you for saying something like that, because they absolutely hate about the United States.
Oh yeah, they hate the United States. Okay, so take out the United States, you guys.
And they didn't say they hate the United States; they hate that.
Good luck. Yeah, take the United States out. Take you take the United States. You take capitalism. You remove capitalism. You remove the United States. And
no, there's capitalism all over the world. If the United States doesn't have, it's not the only capitalistic place in the world. In fact, I'm gonna tell you that China is probably more capitalistic now than the United States is. You're gonna really go, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cringe. Yes, they've got government-owned entities and government investment and all that, but they are unbelievably strong on their capitalism. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's go back to my original question. If two countries are doing business, whether it's your cruise deal with Russia and Germany, what business is it of the United States?
Because because Russia is an immoral country, and so is China.
I'm talking about Russia and Germany. Why do we think we can tell Germany where they buy their gas?
Because if Germany wants to remain an ally of ours, they will not do dealing. They will not
Wait a
do
second.
deals with an immoral country.
Are you saying that Germany isn't smart enough as an ally of ours, an equal?
Well,
saying that
clearly
they're
they
not smart
are,
enough
because
to
if they're buying
understand what's going
buying
on?
oil and gas from Russia when they could just as easily buy it from us, a moral country,
They can
they're
easily
buying
buy
it.
it from us.
They can very
You can't
easily.
build a pipeline from the U.S. and Germany.
We are exporting more oil and gas from
Where's
the
the
United
pipeline?
States.
Where's the
Well, we
pipeline?
can build them a pipeline, whatever, doesn't matter. I don't really care about that. My point is that for a matter of convenience, I don't, whatever reason Germany's doing it to flip us the bird or whatever, they're doing business with a country that is corrupt and immoral.
They're not doing business with a country. They're doing business with another. One company is doing business with another company.
No,
let's get the government part out, right?
You're naive. You're naive, because Russia, there is no company doing blah blah blah. Okay. Russia controls all that industry just as much as they did when they were the Soviet Union.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with China, and they're both immoral. And
you have no idea.
I do.
I'm going to tell you that there's a whole bunch of companies. I can't speak to Russia because I didn't live there.
You don't think Putin could put some poison food and you don't think Putin controls that stuff? He controls that stuff.
I'm sure that he has a voice in it, just like our president has a voice in what our companies do too. But at the end of the day, this is a B2B relationship, a business to business relationship. Why is the government involved? And why, whenever we're a government on the other side of the world, why are we involved? You still there? Uh-oh, we got locked up here. Might have to give another start. You there still?
Yeah, I lost you there for a second.
Sorry about that. We got a little glitch.
Why are we involved?
Must have been the Matrix.
Because they're throttling us. Why are we involved? Because businesses coming out of countries that are governed immorally, that's how we treat them, and as well we should. We should not be, in my opinion. What's going to hurt is trying to figure out how we're going to throttle back our ties with China. We've got to figure that out.
We're not going to throttle back. It's actually strengthened it since we had Trump. You know that. Our imports have been even more under Trump than what they were under Obama. It's continuing to accelerate. So there's no throttling back. He didn't turn around.
Right. Well, to our own demise. To our own demise.
Why?
Because we've seen.
Why is it our own demise?
Because when you get in bed with the devil, then.
What do you mean get in bed with the devil? You know what? This is. Everybody talks about the trade imbalance, and this just drives me crazy. They go, "Oh, geez, our trade imbalance is."
I'm not talking about the trade imbalance. I'm talking about the fact that China and Russia are totalitarian states, and they govern in ways that are completely immoral and antithetical to American values.
Can't speak to Russia, but I'm just going to tell you that China's not a totalitarian state. Back in the 80s, I would believe that. Back in the 90s, I would believe that. But I've been going to China since 2000. It's not, it's not a totalitarian state.
Okay, and so if you started a Uyghur Muslim mosque over there, Jeff, you go over there.
Let's take out the religion. Let's say I just start a business.
No, I'm just talking about a religion.
Okay,
I'm talking about their surveillance state. I'm talking about their theft.
We talked about this with the surveillance state. What's wrong? We have a surveillance state here.
We do.
I was just looking at a mini split for the house, and now I got mini split in every email that I that I get. You know, it's
100%.
crazy.
Yeah, we're real closely following the Chinese model of surveillance.
Okay,
real
so they
thrilled
invented
about
it, and then we're just following along, or
Yeah,
did we invent it and they're actually using it too?
Yeah, hard to say. Hard to say.
Hard to say.
We're pretty friendly with the Chinese because when an NBA basketball GM comes out and says free Hong Kong, well, he's fired.
Yeah, absolutely. Gone.
Should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what totalitarian states do.
What's this whole free Hong Kong thing? You're just flipping from one thing. You're like a fish on a dock, man.
I'm trying to demonstrate to you that China is a totalitarian state.
You don't even understand Hong Kong. I've been there. Hong Kong is being returned to China. That's it. It was under British rule. It was on a lease. It's being returned to China. Get over it. Whatever's going to happen to Hong Kong is going to be part of China going forward. That's it. Get over it.
Right.
And I think a lot of people want to go.
So if you enjoyed Western freedom in Hong Kong under Britain, that's over. Now you're under the totalitarian boot.
Totalitarian rule. You know, this all started with a whole thing with Taiwan and Hong Kong and mainland China. You know what the problem was? Is there was no extradition rights between any of those entities because of Taiwan's relationship with China, even though it is a renegade province, right? I lived there for 6 years. And then you got the Hong Kong, which has just been returned back in 1998, and it's supposed to have 50 years of its own governance, and then it's going to be returned back to China. So we're about halfway through that.
That's over with. China has taken over Hong Kong. That's over.
No, it hasn't.
It hasn't? So everything I've seen, everything I'm seeing on the news about China coming in and cracking down, that's false. That's just propaganda.
Propaganda. That's right.
Yeah. All right.
You know, they're going to go back and push back the umbrella kids.
The Chinese communists are all the tender mercies. They're oh so lovely. They're wonderful to their people over there. They let you think however you want. They let you. There's so much freedom over there that the whole world is trying to flock to China for the freedom and prosperity that's there.
Does Hong Kong still have elections? Yes,
not legitimate. Not legitimate.
They have elections.
Not
That's
legitimate.
like saying our elections aren't legitimate. They're democratic elections.
No, it's not because we don't live under a totalitarian state. We live under a state where Donald Trump can be elected. China.
Yeah, you're right about that. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Hong Kong does not live under that state. If Donald Trump ran for mayor of Hong Kong and every single person in Hong Kong voted for him to be mayor of Hong Kong, I guarantee you the Chinese government would figure out a way to overturn that.
Yeah. Let me ask you, if you were China and you got one of your rental properties back, right? Because that's what it was. It was a rental property, Hong Kong. You got one of your rental properties back.
The British Empire legitimately took over Hong Kong. And they benevolently they had a lease because they were nice about it. They wanted to stop being, quote, imperialistic. World politics didn't allow for imperialism anymore, because if things were going the way they were back in the old days, we would have about 5 more stars on the flag in the Middle East, beginning with Syria.
Okay, before you flop on the dock a little more, let's go back there. Okay.
What I'm talking about is the world has changed. All right. Hong Kong was Britain's. That was part of their empire. India was Britain's. All right. The politics changed. We became, the values and sensibilities of the West, particularly based on Judeo-Christian values, which are moral, says, hey, yeah.
Nobody else has morals except the Judeo-Christians, right? Nobody else has any morals.
Not the kind of morals I'm looking for.
Okay. All right. Carry on.
Well, I mean, tell me under what moral system is it moral to round up a bunch of religious dissidents and put them in concentration camps? That is going on as we speak in China. That's immoral.
In some re-education camps. That's right. Now I'll defend that. How many people do we have in jail here in the United States?
Those are not re-education camps. Those are people that
really
violated our laws and were put in jail legitimately.
Violated our laws?
Yes, violated our laws.
That's a bit of a stretch, right?
What do you mean a bit of a stretch?
Bit of a stretch.
Example.
We got more than 2 million people in prison here.
Okay. Yep.
Right? We're the
Yep.
biggest holder of prisoners of any place in the world. And it
Yep.
doesn't matter if you just go, okay, we're it's not about us being the most populous.
That's
We're
because
the biggest,
that's
we're the
because
biggest
we've
per
rounded
capita.
up we've rounded up people based on their religious beliefs and their ideologies. Is that
No,
what we've done?
is they have broken the Judeo-Christian rules of engagement that you just talked about because they've broken our laws, the laws that formed our government. So are they, since they've broken those laws, are they religious prisoners also?
Okay, so all right, let's play that
Just
game.
going around in a circle here.
Okay, fair enough. So on what are you founding your values?
Well, we're doing Judeo-Christian right now, right?
Well, that's
so America.
Right. So if the West is founded on Judeo-Christian values, and we say, hey,
America.
it's wrong. Yep, we say it's
West.
Right. America. We say it's wrong for you to murder somebody in a drug deal.
Murder.
Steal, murder, etc.
Sell marijuana. Mm-hmm. Any of those things.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We make those laws.
Yep.
Then what you're saying is that, rounding up Uyghurs based just purely on religious.
I'm keeping
grounds.
with America here. So we made those laws on Judeo-Christian values, right? Mm-hmm. So if we rounded them all up and we have the biggest amount of people in prisons, all kind of prisons, private, public, mm-hmm. city jails, we got literally a couple of million people plus in detention right now. And you think about our population, 330 million, that's a big percentage, man. We got like 1% of our entire, that's like 1 out of 100 people are in freaking jail, and we're supporting that with our tax money. But anyway, I digress. If we put them in jail because of our Judeo-Christian values that we all support, then are they religious prisoners? That was the question.
No, because they were arrested and incarcerated based on their objective choice and actions toward others.
Okay. So in China, if you don't support any kind of religion within your government, and somebody out there is doing something else, like a Uyghur, would you incarcerate them? Because you're not.
No.
Oh, wait a second.
No.
No, wait.
No.
Because but you're not meeting your values.
No. We name somebody who's been put in jail in the United States because of their ideas or their religion.
Well, you just told me everybody's
no.
We
have said this is what we value. We value nonviolence. We value personal property. Those are just the basic two things. Those are the two things 99.9% of the people in jail in America are in jail over. It's because they violated those two things. They've committed acts of physical violence against somebody else, rape, murder, assault, etc. Mm-hmm. The other one is violation of personal property, robbery, etc.
Deal.
Okay. Yeah. Those are the two reasons.
Embezzlement, whatever. Yeah.
99% of the people, 99.9% of the people in jail in America are in jail. That's why they're there.
How do you work in the drug thing? Because that's a big percentage.
No,
how do they work into the? Oh yeah, people on drug charges for either having drugs in their possession.
So you have to know possession,
buying and selling drugs. That's a huge percentage.
It's not even close. It's not even close. Possession with intent, that those people that are in jail with those type of charges, it's not even close. The overwhelming majority of people are in jail on murder, assault, those sorts of charges, followed by armed robbery, violation of personal property type of things. Now, could they have been drug?
I heard a number. I'm just going to interrupt you. I think I heard a number, and that there's violent drug offenses where somebody has hurt somebody during a drug deal or whatever. But there's a whole bunch of people, and I'll give you that one. Okay, that's a violent crime, and that they should stay in jail. But there's a whole bunch of people that are in jail, and recalling something around 30 to 40% of the people that are in there for possession, intent to sell, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to look it up after we're done.
If you're looking at the federal prison numbers, yeah, you're going to see a big percentage of people in there on possession stuff. You know why? Because you know what drug charges are? They're federal offenses.
Right.
Okay.
So how does that fit in with the Judeo-Christian thing, the whole drug charges?
Well, leave that aside for a second.
Okay, I'll leave it aside.
That is a minuscule percentage of the people that are in state prisons serving time for violent crime or violation of personal property rights. Sure. Those two things. That's where the overwhelming majority of our prisoners are. Now, have they been drug related? Might some guy popped a cap in somebody's head because he rubbed him out for a dime or something? Yeah. Okay.
I get that.
I'll give you that. All right.
But that's a different thing. They're charged for murder and they're charged for the drug offense. They'll probably get knocked up for both of them. Send them to jail for the murder. Okay, I get that.
Okay.
I'm with you.
So we're talking about people violating two basic human rights that I think probably all of us could hopefully agree on. Life and property. Those are two things our country is founded on. It's not. And again, is it based on Holy Scripture? Yes, it is. Okay. And I can go into that for you if you'd like.
No. Okay. Keep going. I got you.
Okay. But those two things, right? Those are our values, life and property. That's 99.9% of the people who are in prison, in jail right now. Right now, do I have a problem with how many people are in jail in our country? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we do about that? That's another question. Compare that and contrast that to why the Chinese are putting the Uyghurs in concentration camps. It's because of their ideas. They didn't do anything to anybody else's person. They haven't harmed anybody else physically. They haven't taken anybody else's property. They're being put in concentration and re-education camps because of their ideas. That does not happen in the United States.
What about terrorists? Do we put terrorists in jail?
Yeah, because they threaten life and property.
But that's just ideas.
No, they threaten.
I'm not talking about ones that just. What about attempted terrorism? The guy's part of the whole thing.
Jeff,
come on, those guys go to jail too.
You're talking about You're talking about a minute. I mean, it is ridiculous, Jeff.
So I'm going to go back to the China thing.
We went over. No. Hold on. Let me finish this time. We went over to the Middle East and are fighting a war in these historically war-torn countries. We are capturing these men on the battlefield. All right. If this was World War II, you know what we would have? These guys would have. We would have lined them up and shot them. Yeah. That's what we would have done. But what do? We ship them down to Guantanamo Bay, and they hang out there. Okay. So what's more merciful? Should we just shoot them? Is that what you're talking about? I
think we do shoot them.
You're talking about enemy combatants there. Okay. Now, when you're talking about people who have radical ideologies that are using those ideologies to threaten life and property. Now, if the Chinese could come across and say, hey, look, y'all, I know this looks bad, but these Uyghur folks are they've been doing terrorist activities, they've been bombing stuff, they've been robbing, we've really got to try to get this under control. And, I know this doesn't look great, but we've really got to try to quell this thing. Hey, cool. But I haven't heard of any Uyghur bombings, terrorist threats. They're not. Are they robbing things? Are they pillaging?
It's a preemptive thing, right? That they're just,
But we don't. But that doesn't go on in the United States. We don't.
Before we clean up our house, maybe we should clean up our house.
No, we don't need to clean up our house. No, our house is clein comparative to. No, we don't arrest people for their ideas. We don't arrest people for their religion, at least yet. Why
do we have such bad people in the United States? Why do we get 1 in 100 people in jail? That don't make no sense. Or even 1 in 200. It doesn't make any sense that we have that. I'd have
to check your statistics on that. But
do you believe there's 2 million people in jail?
Well, I don't know. I don't know the statistics at this point. But the thing of it is that I know the people that are in jail are in there for 2 reasons.
Okay.
They threaten life. They threaten property.
Okay, so let's go down that rabbit hole. Okay, I'm gonna go
Okay.
with that. So let's say we got 2 million people in jail, 330 million people in the United States. Why do we have such a high? I mean, other countries don't have this. Other countries don't have that many people in jail. Their crime levels are lower. Why is the United States the country with this high crime and have the most people in jail? I don't understand. If we're supposed to be
Well,
doing all the right things, with the Judeo-Christian values, we've done our laws right, we're judging other people. I mean, how can we be in this situation with so many people in jail? Do we have bad people?
so we do.
Percentage-wise, we must have the worst people then, because we got the most people in jail.
Or we have the best law and best law enforcement.
Well, the least tolerance.
Yep. We got the best law. We've got the best law enforcement, and we've got the best judicial system.
So if everybody else had that system, they would have the same result, you think, huh?
Nah, I'm not so sure. Because you have to remember, in the United States, I mean, we're the most diverse country on earth. Period. End of story. No question about it. So we're all still trying to figure out how to live together. I mean, this is a 5 minute. We just thought, hey, 5 minutes. Hey, let's try to get Black people and Hispanic people and European people and Southeast Asian people. Let's see if we can get all
think you have to go that way. I think you go north, south, east, west. Midwest versus 100%. East. I think the white people can't even get along. What are you talking about?
Right. So let's try to get all these people to live together and get along under under one ideal. Okay.
Right.
So I think we have a lot of
which ideal? One ideal. Which ideal?
The Constitution, the Declaration of Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Happiness.
Okay, all right. I thought
that all men are created equal.